I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Good morning. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Freedom Forum. We just want to bring you as much up-to-date information that we can. Some of you are sending your students to majority institutions where they, African-American students and Latino students, they're in the minority. What kind of issues do they face? Black children on predominantly white campuses. What happens after all of the marches, George Floyd, when your child is going back to high school or college in these remote towns where you're not there? What concerns do they have? How can we help the schools make sure that they understand the pressures that African American students who are in the minority in these institutions, what the challenges they face living in the dorm, returning to classes, and teachers are raising questions about their ethnicity, their heritage, people hanging nooses in the bathroom. All of that we're going to talk about on August 10th, and we have a panel of experts, a team of young students who are enrolled in these institutions sharing some of the concerns that students have. You don't want to miss this series of educational town halls designed to inform, inspire, and engage you in the movement.
Every summer, Push Excel brings you a state-of-the-art summer program. This year is nothing less. We are doing a virtual STEM program, and this year we will have theater, archaeology, music, arts, fitness, basketball, even Zumba. So, family, friends, everybody sign up, ages 7 to 15. Go to www.pushexcel.org for you to sign up for our virtual summer STEM program. As well as at the end of the summer, starting August 15th, join us for our virtual college tour. We will have an entire week of activities for our high school students. Jump on the bus, www.pushexcel.org. All of our high school students, you will not be disappointed.
I need you, you need me, we're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me, we're all a part of God's body. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me. I need you to survive. You are important to me. I need you to survive. I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's body. It is His will
here on the campus of Howard University. And not only did I get my education here, and I am an alum of this illustrious university, but of all of the HBCUs, Push Excel is going to be bringing to you a virtual tour, not only of Howard University, founded in 1869, of Senator Kamala Harris, of lawyer Thurgood Marshall, of people like Taraji P. Henson and Felicia Rashad. But we are also going to be bringing to you universities like Tuskegee University, universities like Fisk University, universities all across the world and nation that are rooted in rich culture, education, history, and networking abilities for our historically Black colleges and universities. So, August 15th, get on the bus, go to www.pushexcel.org, join us, and learn about our rich culture and heritage in the education and the rich history that's rooted within our culture. It is worth it to understand and learn about our own history.
We want to thank Rainbow Push Coalition for the meals that they have been providing through this COVID-19 season. The meals that are provided also is used for serving, and also we use these meals because many of our homeless individuals who may not have a home, staying in abandoned buildings, wherever they can stay, can also what we call now to have lunch to go. And so no food goes to waste here. And we are so thankful to Rainbow Push, their support and their efforts to make sure that the homeless population is fed on a weekly basis.
Metro Atlanta Urban Farm here in College Park, Georgia. We are on the front line of fighting COVID-19. We are here because of the people. We are an urban farm. We are trying to make a difference in the lives of the people that we have been called upon to serve. We are an urban farm that is providing emergency food to these communities that we have served over the years. I want to thank Operation Push, Rainbow Push, keep hope alive.
Good morning, we're here at the Rainbow Push Coalition. This is Christopher Jones from the Apostolic Assembly of the Lord Jesus Christ. We are here gathering up food from the University of Chicago, and we are aiming at the Hancock House, the senior living off of 119th. We're going there, making sure that no one is left behind, that everyone understands that in the time of dire needs, in the time of things being unnormalized, unconditionalized in the hatred, what must be also unconditionalized is compassion, unity, love. And that is something that Reverend Jesse Jackson has taught us here at the Rainbow Push Coalition. Thank you.
Good morning. I am excited because we have relaunched our Rainbow Push Food Justice Program in the city of Chicago. We're also doing food justice services in our Silicon Valley office. We're soon to be launching food justice in all of our satellite cities, and hopefully food justice will be coming to a city where you live. What we're doing in Chicago is we are partnering with a number of restaurants and even one of the universities in the city to make sure that students, families, homeless persons, persons living in shelters, persons who are living in domestic violence facilities, seniors who are living in senior homes on fixed income. We're providing meals for refugees and immigrants in the city. And each of these meals is sponsored by World Central Kitchen. They're providing meals every day to people who are food insecure. We also want to thank the Valari restaurant. They provided meals during this period of COVID. We also want to thank the Let Us Entertain You restaurant chain. They've been providing meals. And then the University of Chicago has put resources in the hands of African American caterers and restaurant owners so that they too can provide meals each and every day for families. We've been serving several thousand meals each and every week since COVID and the shelter in place has occurred in Chicago. We're still providing meals, and if you're a restaurant owner and you want to be able to donate, and support our food justice program, we welcome you. We thank all of our elected officials who have been distributing some of this food in the communities where they have been elected. We have many of our aldermen and our county commissioners have been a part of our food justice initiative. And the other thing that we're looking to do is to change the public policy that would allow families to not have a sufficient amount of food to eat every day. We will be, during the summer, partnering with our Black farmers to make sure that we go from farm to table in the city and in cities across the country, making sure that our Black farmers' products, fruits, vegetables, and meats, we'll be able to see them in our stores. We thank all of our supporters, all of our sponsors for our food justice initiative. We thank Mr. Yusef Jackson for helping us to coordinate these many restaurants. I thank each one of you that deliver food, help us to package the food, to take it to those who are in need.
Today and every other Wednesday, we are doing the Feed the Hungry program at the New Faith Missionary Baptist Church. So really, over 30 years ago, my grandmother started doing this Feed the Hungry ministry, and she would come and she would cook every day or every Wednesday in our cafeteria area. But when COVID happened and we had to shut that down, Push was offering these meals, and I asked them, could I have meals to take back to the New Faith Missionary Baptist Church for our Feed the Hungry program? And so today we are revitalizing that program as we have for the last few weeks, and we're giving away food to the community.
Yes, sir.
While we're here, we're giving out food still to feed the hungry and helping. We need to help. So that's what we're trying to do. We're helping that, trying to help as many as we can. Ma'am, do you have children? Put it on top of it.
One of our first and foremost areas of service is helping people to eat. And so we need to be able to help people. And now we're living in food deserts and grocery store deserts on the back end of violent protest and unrest and looting in the south side of Chicago. And so now we have elderly people, people with disabilities, people who are less fortunate, who are not able to get adequate food. And so our first and foremost area of service is to feed the people in the community. They're living in deserts. We've got to be able to help the least of these in any way possible.
We want to make sure as many people as possible can benefit from the supplies we have. We don't want our children to go hungry. We don't want our seniors to. We don't want anyone to go hungry.
Of course, we're always grateful to the Rainbow Push Coalition, Reverend Jesse Jackson. We're grateful to the community. These caterers, World Central Kitchen, Volare Italian Restaurant, the University of Chicago, all of our partners in this food distribution program. The Reverend Dr. Howard Randolph and First Lady Randolph thanks you. The New Faith family thanks you. The Auburn Gresham community thanks you. And we are here at 8400 South Halsted Street every Wednesday at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. giving out food to the community.
Praise the Lord, everybody. This is Pastor Joseph Bryant, and I am here in the hallways of our Push Tech 2020 office in the Silicon Valley Bay Area. We are grateful for the opportunity to serve in this season alongside our wonderful legendary leader, Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson. What a blessing it is for us to be able to partner with him as he continues to make impact all around the world. And during this season of challenge and pandemic and all of the social unrest, Reverend Jackson continues to be on the front lines of change, and we're grateful to partner with him in all of the efforts that we're conducting all around the country. In particular, we want to just give a major shout out to the LA Sentinel and to Danny Bakewell and to all of the wonderful partners, Mothers in Action, the LA labor unions, all of the wonderful folks that worked this past weekend in Los Angeles for a phenomenal feeding program. It was just a blessing to be a part of it. We were able to feed over 2,500 families, fresh produce and some canned goods and non-perishables, and just be a blessing to that area in a special way. Rainbow Push was able to provide PPE support. We were able to give masks and sanitizer to attendees. We had water for the volunteers. We were able to give out a lot of information around the census as well as voter registration information. And so we thank you so much for the privilege of being able to do that work in Southern California this week as part of our West Coast focus on food justice. We want to make sure that folks are being fed during these challenging times. And of course, that goes right along with what we're doing here in Northern California, our ongoing feeding program. Every day, we're feeding different groups of people, students and families. Those students that would normally be in summer school right now, they are at home, but we're providing meals to them through our partnership with the San Francisco Unified School District, along with our Good Samaritan Resource Center. And then we also have our meals that we're providing for seniors and shut-ins through the San Francisco African American Faith-Based Coalition and various food banks and organizations around the Bay Area, restaurants and those that are coordinating New Deal, so many different partners that we're able to connect with. And I just thank God for the privilege of serving alongside Reverend Jackson and the Rainbow Push family. Continue to give your support to us as we continue to do this great work and reach out to those that are in need as we even raise the flags of justice doing our marches and our rallies. We've now moved from protest into practical actions, and we want to make sure that people are registered to vote, people are signing up for and getting their numbers counted in the census so that we can continue to have funding in our communities. And most of all, we want everyone to just keep a positive and prayerful attitude. This too shall pass. Weeping endures for a night, but joy comes in the morning. I know this night has gone on for several months now, but God is still in control. Continue to support Rainbow Push, lift up Reverend Jackson in the movement, and we'll be with you because fighting for you is what we do. God bless.
To have you, Reverend, here with us for this holidays, and also all of your delegation for this very special occasion of the 75th anniversary of 2nd August, the European Roma Holocaust Memorial Day. How we brought together this, I think, very unique group of people, and probably I think it should go down into history as the dinner of an African American Roma meeting in Europe with some of the most outstanding activists.
Let me say that I'm delighted to be here. I don't know a single American Roma, not one. So I'm meeting two today. That's a concern we have because they're not identified as such. In the coalitions against racism, anti-Semitism, anti-Romism, it has no identity.
Reverend Jackson,
yes, sir.
Ich möchte Ihnen sagen,
I would like to tell you,
dass es für mich und für unsere Organisation,
it is for myself and for our organization, for all of us,
eine riesige Ehre
an
ist,
incredible honor
dass Sie heute hier sind.
that you are here today in Poland with us.
We will win.
Und wir werden gewinnen.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What years were you involved in the tragedy of the Holocaust? What years were you involved?
1943,
Till when?
till the end. My family, gypsies. My father belonged to the Reinhardts, like Jakob Reinhardt.
An icon not only in the context of the US civil rights movement, but globally, worldwide. Reverend Jesse L. Jackson is one of the top figures of the African American civil rights struggle from its very early beginning. Working as a top lieutenant to Martin Luther King, he is the top political and religious leader in the US. He's also a founder of the Push Rainbow Coalition, which is a forefront for working for the rights of African Americans and also on equal rights for all people. We are extremely proud and honored that Reverend Jesse Jackson found time and energy to come and share his experiences with us. So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce Reverend Jesse Jackson here. Welcome.
My enemy has a plan for me. I have a plan for me. My plan is forward By hope. Not backwards. By fear. No more Auschwitz. No Auschwitz. We're not going back. We're not going back. Say I am somebody. Respect me. Protect me. Never neglect me. Let me hear you scream.
Good morning. We are in the midst of a major drive to get more members, more people engaged and involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. If you're interested in public policy and you want to help change the policies that impact those incarcerated, change the policies that impact students attending colleges and universities. If you want to be a policymaker, then you need to join Rainbow Push and join by paying your $35 right now. Some of you watch us every week. You listen to us on the radio. You're viewing us in social media. We need you to become a member. It's only $35 a year. If you believe in the scholarships that we give to thousands of students each and every year, we've awarded more than $10 million to scholars year to date. What do you have to do to give and support Push? It's really very simple. You can go to rainbowpush.org if you're on a computer and press donate. Give any amount. Every dollar is important. You want to talk to somebody, call us at 773-256-2775. You can give right now, any denomination that you choose. You can text the word PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444. Text on your cell phone. Most of you have a cell phone. Just text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444, and you can give any amount that you feel comfortable giving. Or call us 773-256-2775, or go to rainbowpush.org and just press donate. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you.
I'm a woman who loves the water, a woman who stands by the water. Those are my two given names by my family and my people. I live on Standing Rock Reservation. Standing Rock was created for Sitting Bull's people. Sitting Bull was Hunkpapa Lakota. Hunkpapa is the horn of the buffalo. That means that we are the vanguard of the Sioux Nation. And we're best in crisis. So challenge us. And when we're in best in crisis, we're going to meet your match or we're going to beat you. It's our history.
In North Dakota, activists are scrambling to make sure Native Americans can vote next week. They are a key bloc for Democrats, but a recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling upheld the Republican legislature's changes to voter ID requirements. North Dakota voters now need street addresses, and many Native Americans don't have them.
I think that the story really begins in 2011. Because in 2011 is when the legislature first considered a voter ID bill. And when they did that, they were informed of a couple of crucial things. The first is that many Native Americans lack residential street addresses. And not only are these homes unmarked, but people don't have consistent addresses. What we know about Native Americans in North Dakota is that there's a severe housing crisis. And what that means is that people are moving from home to home with great frequency.
Many homes have 2 or 3 families living there. Most of those people in there will not have street addresses. I have a son that lives with me, and I have 4 grandchildren. And at times, my household goes up to 15, 16 people. All relatives, primarily because of lack of housing. That's just a fact of life around here.
And so in 2011, on a widespread bipartisan basis, the legislature rejected the voter ID bill. They all had concerns about disenfranchisement. And then in 2012, Heidi Heitkamp was elected to Senate by an incredibly slim margin. Her win was widely credited to the Native American vote. The very next legislative session, the legislature ended up passing the voter ID bill.
Final tally on House Bill 1332, the bill is passed.
What that meant for Native Americans in North Dakota is that they were forced to have an ID that either they didn't possess or was lacking in the critical information of the residential street address. This, as expected, in 2014 had a widespread disenfranchising effect, meaning that the Native Americans were being widely turned away at the polls. And so in 2016, NARF filed a lawsuit alleging discrimination under the Constitution and Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act.
The Supreme Court declined to consider a challenge to a North Dakota law that requires voters to show proof of their residential address at the polls, putting the law into effect just weeks before the midterms.
Unfortunately, the Supreme Court did not end up intervening, and that's when there was a large Get Out the Vote campaign on the reservations.
We were challenged, but the bottom line, the ultimate decision, we were going to vote.
They're testing us, we're testing them back.
We were vigorous. We were vigilant. No one was going to deny us a vote. We did a school bus. We put Sitting Bull's picture on there. They all got on the buses and went to different neighborhoods. It was exciting. It showed the movement, the action, the racing, the running, the rallying, and the momentum that our people gained.
Tribal governments responded really strongly. They started issuing IDs for free, which is something that they typically can't afford to do.
Within a couple weeks, there was over 800 tribal IDs distributed to our tribal members. We made sure that those IDs had physical addresses on them so they could vote.
The second question is, do you have a valid ID?
This was a plan of action which the Standing Rock Sioux Tribe and our allies had taken against the policies and the laws of the state of North Dakota.
And we're going to mobilize our people like we've never mobilized before.
We did it. We did an incredible job, and the people voted. We prevailed in spite of all of the negatives.
The change in America has occurred because somebody thought that they could make a difference. The changes did not come from Wall Street, or the White House, or the Congress, the courts. They always started by some young person who thought that they could in fact make a difference. Rosa Parks got on a bus one day. The sign above the driver's head read, "The colored seat from the rear, white seat from the front. Violators will be punished by law." She refused to go to the back of the bus.
Yes, you did.
And she was arrested. Dr. King went to her rescue, a 26-year-old student, and told her, "Better let you walk in dignity than ride in shame." one person can make a difference. In 1957, 9 students at Little Rock Central High in Arkansas went to school one day led by the Army. They refused to bow. They made a difference. In the next few years, young America died that we might live. Medgar Evers was killed in cold blood about this right to vote. Sojourner Goodman and chained 2 Jews and an African American were bulldozed to death with their eyes wide open in Philadelphia, Mississippi, about this right to vote. Jimmy Lee Jackson's 15-year-old African American student shot and killed in Marion, Alabama, about this right to vote. 4 darling little girls blown up in the church in Birmingham, Alabama one Sunday morning, all about the right to vote. They made a difference.
Made a difference. Yes, yes.
You must make a difference. Whenever students are sober and sane and sensitive and put hope in their brains and not dope in their veins, they can always make a difference.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Because they died, your generation has the power. Today, high school seniors should come across that stage with a plume in one hand and a voter card in the other, because they can make a difference. College students must vote. You have the power. You must not have the attitude. It's not my aptitude, but my attitude that determines my altitude or how high I will go. My mind is a pearl. I can learn anything in the world. Just because it rains, I don't have to drown. I may have been born in the slum, but the slum was not born in me. I can rise above my circumstance. Hands that once picked cotton can now pick presidents. Let's vote about it. Let's vote about it.
I speak tonight for the dignity of man and the destiny of democracy. What happened in Selma is part of a far larger movement which reaches into every section of America. This bill will strike down restrictions to voting in all elections.
Today we celebrate our noble tradition by signing our newest civil rights law, the National Voter Registration Act of 1993.
Today, we renew a bill that helped bring a community on the margins into the life of American democracy. I am proud to sign the Voting Rights Act Reauthorization and Amendments Act of 2006.
Young people are fired up about the 2008 election.
Large numbers of African Americans are turning up at the polls in what could be a historic turnout among the nation's largest minority voting group.
11 o'clock on the East Coast, we can report history.
Barack Obama is projected to be the next president of the United States of America.
This mathematically makes no sense to me. Some of these cheating has happened. I don't believe it. I think this is voter fraud.
Several new voting laws recently enacted in the United States.
The Republicans will take control of the House of Representatives.
Voter ID, which is going to allow Governor Romney to win the state of Pennsylvania. Done.
Experts found that African-American voters were nearly twice as likely to lack voter ID.
What we've seen this year is by far the most significant rollback of voting rights since the Jim Crow era.
We cut Obama by 5%, and I think that probably voter ID had helped a bit in that.
The U.S. Supreme Court today took the teeth out of a law enacted nearly 50 years ago.
Since 1965, the Voting Rights Act has policed voting discrimination. But today's decision effectively puts it on hold.
At issue, a decades-old provision in the law that requires 9 states, mostly in the South, to get approval from the federal government before changing voting laws or procedures.
The ACLU of Wisconsin filed that lawsuit today, calling the state's voter ID law unconstitutional.
Today, the ACLU filed a lawsuit challenging recent cuts in voting hours.
It seems like we're playing like a game of whack-a-mole right now. Every time we whack down something like a voter ID law, some new tactic pops up.
From Texas to Virginia, state and local governments have taken steps to require voter identification, eliminate same-day registration, and to limit voting hours and locations.
Federal appeals court has struck down a North Carolina voter ID law. Civil rights groups have slammed the law, claiming it discriminates against minorities and the poor.
They said it was clear that the intent was to target African Americans with, quote, surgical precision.
I think most people recognize the Republicans have taken over the legislature and they want to have structural options that make it more likely that their voters come out and others that don't.
Well, I think Hillary Clinton is about the weakest candidate the Democrats have ever put up. And now we have photo ID, and I think photo ID is going to make a little bit of a difference as well.
We just got new metrics in. Donald J. Trump is the president of the United States elect.
The new Presidential Commission on Election Integrity, established after President Trump, who lost the popular vote, insisted 3 to 5 million people voted illegally.
State after state can't point to a single instance of in-person voter impersonation, not one.
Again, you don't have any hard physical evidence that this happened.
We've seen time and time again when Republicans can't win outright as far as votes, then they resort to what many would call cheating.
We have to go through extra hurdles to prove where we reside. With our tribal IDs that have to be changed now to have physical addresses.
Voter suppression is an issue all over the United States. And right now, one of the most prominent examples is in Georgia.
He's running against you for governor and overseeing state elections.
Yes,
so,
he is both the player and the umpire.
Voters agreed to restore voting rights to convicted felons.
The new law has given an estimated 1.4 million people who've completed their sentences the right to vote in the next election.
Not only do I see myself differently, but the state now sees me differently. The state now sees me as somebody that is worthy to have a voice again.
I really feel like a citizen, you know, not just a person, but I would feel like an American.
The Florida Senate passed a bill Friday that would require formerly incarcerated people with felony convictions to repay all fines and fees to courts before their voting rights are restored.
The ACLU announced it's suing the state over the new law, claiming it guts Amendment 4.
The Supreme Court set to hear oral arguments this week on whether the Trump administration can include a very controversial citizenship question on the 2020 census.
Challengers say the question could lead to millions of people not responding to the census, and that could affect how federal money is allocated and how many representatives each state gets in Congress.
The justices in this ruling saying the Census Bureau cannot go forward with putting this citizenship question on the 2020 census.
The history of democracy in this country has never been a simple story of linear progress. We have overcome every moment of backlash, and we will overcome this one and move closer to a democracy in which everyone can participate and be treated equally.
On securing the vote, on ensuring that we all have a free and fair opportunity at elections, to have jobs, justice, and an equal opportunity at the American dream. And there's no better person to talk about the work the Reverend Jackson has done on the vote than Reverend Jesse Jackson. Joining us now is Reverend Jackson on the line. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
You know, Robert, thank you. He used to say, according to our power, our name would change. We had no power. We were nigger. We could vote a little Negro, then black, then African American. The more power we got, the more dignified our names got. Because we become powerful enough to protect ourselves. Dr. King never saw a black man in Atlanta, or Savannah, Augusta, or Tallahassee, or Selma, Montgomery, or Birmingham. The fact is, we were moving politically in ways that's astonishing. We can't give up on political empowerment. Focus a lot these days on police. The police patrol, they don't control. Politicians control. In 1968, Dr. King was killed, Robert Kennedy was killed, and the insurrection. The mayor said, shoot to kill. Other mayors took his lead. There was no black shield in this insurrection. Because our mayors are more civil. They came from our people. So I tell you, the right to vote is a very powerful weapon. No, violence is a weapon. Violence is not a weapon against the most violent nation on earth. No, violence is a weapon, and voting is a weapon. I submit to you that this time around, in Black Lives Matter, white folks, the constitutional right to vote. Constitutional right to vote. So our record numbers in September, we can defeat Trump and take our nation in another direction.
And on that point, In the recent weeks, we've seen the passing of John Lewis, the passing of C.T. Vivian, earlier this year, Dr. Lowry. Can you kind of talk about what they meant to you and what they meant to this cause of voting and civil rights that we're still fighting for today?
So we get Charles Evans. When Medgar was killed in 1963, June 7th before the March on Washington, Charles left West Side Chicago and went to Mississippi. He was the voice, the man with the courage. And the first black man in history of Mississippi, Fayette County, Fayette, Mississippi. So we miss Charles Evans as well. But Lowry meant so much to us. He had been there since 27 years. Kept working back roads of the South. Much of what we have now is because of Reverend Lowry. C.D. Vivian, by the way, you see in 1947, against Bull Montgomery, there was a demonstration in Macomb, Illinois. Desegregated the facilities in 47. He was the longest distance runner, C.T. was. There to Montgomery, there to Birmingham, Selma. C.T. never stopped. John Lewis he's just John Lewis. We met in the fall of 1960. I go to jail that summer, July 1960. And I used to put in the library in Greenville, South Carolina. We hooked up at A&T at that time. And we were in and out of marches for the rest of the 60 years. The day John and Dr. King spoke in Washington, in Texas, across the Florida, up to Maryland, we could use a single public toilet. We couldn't take pictures in Long State Capitol. Dogs could. Black soldiers sat behind Nazi prisoners of war on American military bases at that time. We kept fighting. So by 1964, we had the Public Accommodation Bill. John hitched his horse to the big lifting. He could have done his own thing outside of the movement. He did the Marshall, the foundation, was a policy fund to Thurgood Marshall, Dr. King responded to her. John responded to Dr. King, and he never stopped. He did it. John Lewis did it. He fought the Public Accommodation Bill, paid the price, jailing 45 times. Went to Congress, became its conscience. African American Museum is in Washington because of John Lewis, for example. Now we're trying to get the Voting Rights Act restored. Heroes, but we got to go a step beyond that. We got to fight for the constitutional right to vote. Constitutional right to bear arms, to have guns, not the constitutional right to vote. You have 50 separate state not equal elections. You have one national election. It's coherent. You have a Georgia standard and a New York standard with one side of voting. So I hope the Black Lives Matter will turn this anguish in demonstration into power. You can have 2 senators in Georgia this year. Well, remember the numbers are 35% black, Latino, progressives, youth. We have 2 senators out of Georgia, 1 out of South Carolina, North Carolina, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Colorado. If we focus on political empowerment, our lives will matter because we'll make it break presidents. We'll make it break the Senate. At that time, who's on the Supreme Court. We have the power to remain focused and disciplined.
And last thing, earlier we had a caller who suggested that voting is ineffective, voting doesn't matter, and said we should all try to go back to Africa instead. What do you say to people who don't believe in the power of the vote?
Well, the young man was killed in Atlanta a month ago. His name shot down.
Rashard Brooks.
Yeah. Paul Howard had him indicted in 3 days. If we elect him with the vote, that wouldn't have happened without Paul Howard. In Minnesota, when George Floyd was killed, I went to see the county attorney. He said he couldn't deal with the police because of the police laws. We kicked it over to Keith Ellison.
Keith Ellison.
Keith indicted all 4 of them in one day. he's a state 5% black with a coalition vote. He had the power to put the man in jail and kill George Floyd. The vote is also power. They have the mayors in Montgomery and Atlanta and Selma and Birmingham, Richmond, Augusta. That means so much to us. All of us steps in the right direction. So can you imagine when Emmett Till was killed? They knew who killed the killer. The jury set to kill him free. Ryan asked the jury, why did you set him free? He said, we can imagine a white man going to jail for killing a nigger. We had nobody on the jury. We couldn't hang the jury. We can protect ourselves. The guy who killed Emmett Till was found convicted 40 years later. Emmett Till was killed 40 years later. The vote gives rights to several juries. You elect sheriffs, you elect mayors, legislators, you can change laws. You can negotiate for power. Now, we go back to Africa and Guyana. We have a right to go where we choose to go. We're free to challenge, to travel. We made this country the strongest country in the world. And we should demand our repair for damage done to us here. Leverage America to change the world. We're going to Africa. Not a guarantee, but we're African Americans. We're not Africans, we're not Americans, we're Africans. We're Negroes, not Negroes. We're new people. And so to go there, you're just seen as strangers. Stick where we are, fight back. This is win 2 Senate seats in Georgia, South Carolina, and Mississippi. Send Trump home, packing.
Thank you so much, Reverend Jetson. I think that is the message that we all need. Stay where you at and fight back. Thank you.
Well, let me tell you, if you want to help RainbowPush.org, we need your help. Join Push today, RainbowPush.org. Please join today, okay?
Yes, and y'all please do that. Reverend Jetson has instructed me to get 1,000 new members in Atlanta, so y'all head on over to RainbowPush.org and help your boy out. I enjoy being on payroll. So thank you so much, Reverend Jetson.
When I think of Rainbow Push, I think of 2 words: social justice.
Education advocacy.
Political empowerment.
Freedom and equality.
Global humanitarian.
Evolutionary, revolutionary.
Political change.
Inclusion, evolution. Push Excel.
Progress, justice.
Jesse Jackson.
Not progressiveness.
Equality and perseverance.
Corporate partnership. People united.
Push yes.
I'm Otis Moss III.
I'm Frederick Douglass Haynes III.
And we are here simply just to say to you about an incredible organization known as Operation Push.
Can I be admitted?
No, sir, you cannot be admitted.
Why?
I am not going to serve you.
Because of my race?
Operation Push has been here for us even when we didn't know it. As a matter of fact, a lot of the doors that you walk through is because of the fact that somebody knocked those doors down. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
And because of Operation Push, when it started as Operation Breadbasket, after the assassination of Dr. King, they decided to build an organization that were people united to save humanity.
Just what is Operation Push?
Well, Operation Push is a civil economics organization. It's a religious organization with an economic mission. And we believe that the black church is the political and spiritual salvation of our people. And it is to that extent that we challenge churches and churchmen to get involved.
And so we are simply asking those who have been blessed by Push to join the movement.
That's right. And if you do that, I promise you, you are blessing the next generation. And that's what we need, generationally, to bless those who come behind us, just as those before us made sure that we could have what we have. That's Operation Push, pushing doors open. But we can't push if we don't have your hand involved.
We want to turn on the gas. We want to turn on the water. We want to sell the clothes. We want to sell the cars. We want to be men. We want self-determination.
And it was Jesse Jackson who was the young man of the movement and now is an elder statesman. And we've got to make sure that we have another generation that will be pushing forward, another generation that will be building an Operation Breadbasket, another generation that will be talking about new economic strategies for those who are poor.
And ensuring that we are never politically disenfranchised. I hope you already recognize that there is a movement afoot to rob us of what we fought so hard for and shed blood for, and that is the right to express our voice through voting.
If blacks vote in great numbers, progressive whites win. It's the only way progressive whites win. If blacks vote in great numbers, Hispanics win. When blacks, Hispanics, and progressive whites vote, women win. When women win, children win. When women and children win, workers win. We must all come up together. We must come up together.
We need you in Rainbow Push to make sure we are politically empowered and enfranchised.
There is no other organization like Rainbow Push, and we encourage you to make sure that you join and financially support. If we don't support it, no other organization will. It is our duty, it is our job to support our organizations.
We got to do it. Grassroots organization, hitting the streets and challenging those in the suites. That's Operation Push.
I like that. I'm Reverend Otis Moss III.
Hey, I'm Frederick D. Haynes III. He's rubbing off on me.
Make sure you join Operation Push, Rainbow Push, today.
Keep hope alive.
They used to say we were just 3/5 of a man, and we had to fight to be fully recognized. Back then, being counted meant marches, pickets, jail cells, and worse. One way you can show we count in less than 10 minutes is to take the 2020 census. Be a warrior for your community. Be counted and make certain adequate funds and political representation are allocated to your state and your neighborhood. Just select one of these easy options. By phone, call 844-330-2020. Online at mycensus2020.gov or simply mail in your survey. Never forget, you are somebody. Don't delay. Take the census today.
I am somebody.
Dr. Kim, I went to jail with a group of 7 students, July 17, 1960, almost 60 years ago. We never stopped moving. I lost a few of jail cells and death. We never stopped moving. I thought it was time to write some of it down so the older generation can learn how we did and what we did and how global it was. Whether speaking about Mandela in South Africa, India, Qatar, about Gandhi in India, here at home. This book tells the story, so please get it and give it to your friends. Read it, let's argue about it, let's discuss it.
Yeah, so the book is Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. It's quite a good collection. You know, we've got sermons and speeches from around the globe because you have made such a global impact, not just here in the U.S., but around the world.
Thank you for tuning in to our International Saturday morning broadcast. We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition. When you shop, Amazon gives. Visit Amazon Smile and select PUSH for Excellence as your charitable organization by starting your shopping at smile.amazon.com.
Get involved with the movement.
Somebody.
Join the movement.
If you're not a member, become a member.
I am somebody. Fighting the most important battles for freedom and justice for all.
You made us change. Oh, trying to bring closer.
Join Rainbow Push.
But you're not.